listening to Deep Talk with Vasavi on KCMO Talk Radio 710. I hope all of you are having a beautiful Sunday. You know, I'm at total peace right now. And in my line of work, I know one thing for sure. It's not money, it's not fancy cars or big homes or fame that people yearn for. It's the feeling of oneness. It's that peace of mind. And throughout my personal growth journey, just that quest within, much of my inner conflict was because I was constantly in a state of two-ness. And I got to say that the oneness that I now experience is because of my daily practice of praying. And I know I said this last week, but I do owe this to my mother-in-law, who just came to visit us last week. She came in from New York, and she's that kind of woman who lives with conviction. And she starts her day by showering and praying before she even eats or drinks anything. And I admire that in her. I started practicing that, and it's made a huge difference in how my day goes. You see, when you start your day with prayer, and it doesn't have to look any sort of specific way, but just, giving gratitude, asking for blessing, and setting your daily intention, you start your day from a place of oneness. So I want to ask you, all of you who are listening, what are you going to practice so that you can experience that state of oneness in your life? If you have more questions about this, you can give me a call at 913-951-1764. You can also check me out on my website at www.vasavikumar.com and sign up for your 30-minute complimentary coaching session today. Last week we spoke to Greg DeMamos, the first coach that I ever worked with. He's a relationship coach, and we talked all about mastering your needs in your relationship. It was amazing. It's a huge wake-up call when you can see that the way your life goes and the way that your relationship goes is truly in your hands. You have the power. And once you hone in on that power that you already have within you, you can manifest any type of relationship. So today, I'm going to be talking to a beautiful, dynamic woman. I met her back in San Diego a few months ago at the National Association of Women Business Owners Conference. Her mere presence and being was just radiating, and she exudes joy wherever she goes. My guest, Dr. Cynthia Glickman, is the author of Daughter of a Porn King. Now, if I haven't gotten your attention, I know that I must have just gotten your attention with the title of that book. It is a transformational story. It is extraordinary, the message that she is sending in that book. So I want you to make sure that you stay tuned to Deep Talk on KCMO Talk Radio 710. When we get back, I'm going to be talking to my beautiful guest, Dr. Cynthia Glickman, the author of Daughter of a Porn King.
KCMO Talk Radio 710 with Dave Ramsey.
I would first do a debt snowball with things you are currently paying on. So if you got rid of your cars and your house, you're debt-free.
Financial freedom mixed with common sense.
I'm probably selling your car so that I can buy her a $5,000 car. It's huge to her.
Tune in to Dave Ramsey, weekdays from 11 till 2 on KCMO Talk Radio 710.
Hey folks, Dave Ramsey here. Mr. Remodeler is one of Kansas City's oldest and most trusted remodeling and repair companies. So when it comes to remodeling that bathroom, there's no better choice than Mr. Remodeler. They serve a variety of clientele and understand that everyone has different needs and expectations. This includes a wide range of product options, styles, and colors. The Mr. Remodeler team also understands the importance of having a plan for your money and will take the time to find the most economical way to get you the bathroom you want. This could mean their experienced craftsman does the more difficult tasks and you do the paint and wallpaper. Another option would be to maintain the same layout and merely swap the old bathroom fixtures for new and updated ones. So, to discover even more possibilities, call Mr. Remodeler today. In Missouri, call 453-3049. In Kansas, 362-7166 or online at MrRemodeler.com.
When you're in the hospital for surgery, you're asked a lot of questions by a lot of different people, all of whom have your well-being in mind. The success of your anesthesia experience depends on how completely you answer the confidential questions asked by your certified registered nurse anesthetist. Be honest about your medical history, whether you smoke, drink, take drugs, or have been dieting. Your safety depends on it. A public service message from the American Association of Nurse Anesthetists.
I love spring. The sounds, the sunshine, the projects, any chance to get outside. Still checking off your to-do list? Then join Sam's Club. The same place you save on everyday items can also help you save for spring. Plants for the garden, steaks for the grill, even patio sets. Join by April 22nd and start your membership with lunch on us. A slice of fresh-baked pizza and an ice-cold Coca-Cola. After all, what's spring without a little picnic? One per membership. See Club for details. Sam's Club. Savings made simple.
When it comes to your health care, who's in your corner? Who's ready to fight to get you affordable coverage and peace of mind? Susan Jacobs of Health Insurance in Kansas City is passionate about helping you make informed decisions so you can protect your healthcare needs now and in the future. It's a local company that works with dozens of local and national healthcare carriers, including prescription drug coverage and Medicare supplemental insurance. They do the legwork so you don't have to. Her years of experience have given her the resources and the expertise to research the carriers to find the right healthcare plans for her clients, individual plans, family plans, and short-term medical plans. With Health Insurance in Kansas City, you get the 4 Ps. Positive results with premium carriers and premium care without the premium rates. Keep the upper hand when it comes to your health coverage. Call Susan Jacobs at 913-322-1972. Online at healthinsurancinkansascity.com.
Folks, I've been telling you for years that Lee's Summit Heating and Cooling is the only heating and cooling company in Kansas City that I recommend. Since 1990, they've been installing and servicing the most trusted brands of high-efficiency equipment on the market. Today, with a 98% referral rate, their business is one of the most respected heating and cooling companies around. I trust Lee's Summit Heating and Cooling, and you should too. Call 816-525-7218.
710.
Caring for KC.
Memorial Day marks the 25th annual Amy Thompson Run for Brain Injury. This family-friendly event to benefit the Brain Injury Association features 8K and 5K runs along with a 1-mile walk for thought. See you Memorial Day.
For more information on this and other community efforts, visit the KCMO Talk Radio 710 Community Affairs website at caringforkc.com. KCMO Talk Radio 710. Dave Ramsey.
You can tell their collections department is lying if their mouth is moving.
Tune in to Dave Ramsey, weekdays from 11 till 2 on KCMO Talk Radio 710.
We're back, and you're listening to Deep Talk on KCMO Talk Radio 710. You know, doing this radio show, it has opened up so many of my listeners' ears and eyes to what's really going on, not just outside of them, but inside of them. And on a personal note, you know, I get to talk to so many speakers, authors, coaches, and other people who are contributing so much of themselves to society to help others in a big way, in such an authentic way. And I'm truly blessed to not only be able to do this show, but to be able to have all these amazing individuals on my show. The question that I want to ask all of you is, have you acknowledged how blessed you are? Like, really just take a minute and look around you. How blessed are you? You know, and I feel today I am blessed to have my guest on the show. Dr. Cynthia Glickman is the author of Daughter of a Porn King. It is an amazing book. If you want to get her book, you could get it on Amazon, or you could also go to the website, www.daughterofapornking.com, and there are awesome bonuses that go along with it, and our guest will talk about it later on in the show. I admire Cynthia's strength and her perseverance in really sharing her powerful and transformational story. So thank you so much, Cynthia, for being on the show today.
Well, thank you, and what an awesome introduction. I'm so excited to be here.
You know what?
Thank you.
I knew the minute that I met you back in San Diego, I was like, she has something. She has something. Like, you're just happy. And I love it because it's so real, it's so natural, and it just comes from within. So I'm really happy to have you here. I know all my listeners are excited to really hear your story. So I want to ask you, what is it like to be the daughter of a porn king?
Well, I think I'm just going to tag a little bit off of what you just said, and I think presently I feel so blessed. that I had, all the life experiences that I've had. As a child, though, you can imagine a 7-year-old girl walking into a porn convention without adult supervision. And for me, looking around at all of these women that were scantily clad, barely covering their bottoms and their bootylicious mamas, everything's hanging out, and this 7-year-old girl thinking to herself, oh my God, is this what I need to do in order to be loved? So for me, that took me on quite a challenging journey, really, for not just my childhood, but then into my adult life, is really trying to discover, well, what is true love and what does it mean?
So to all my listeners out there, I really want you to get that, like Cynthia referred to her past as a blessing. And what I do admire about you, Cynthia, is that you took the wound, so to say, something that most people wouldn't look at as a blessing, but it must have been scary as a 7-year-old walking into a porn convention. But what I really do admire is that you've taken that wound and you've drawn out the wisdom. And now you're able to speak from a place of wisdom as opposed to operating from that wound. And I often talk about that on my show, that you could either, operate from that wound and really just walk around wounded, or you can learn from it and see the blessing. And, yeah. So I'm excited. So we got to keep going, because I will.
I think that's just such a key point, that, and it's actually a lot of what some of the work that we do with the programs that I offer, to help people to really find out what the wound is and help them to release that.
So I know that people often call you the Joy Doctor or America's Joy Coach. So what is that, and why is it important to be joyful?
Well, you're probably pretty familiar with the law of attraction. I know you are, for certain, and more people are these days. But what I see happen over and over again is people actually complaining, like, yeah, right, but that doesn't really work in my life. Mm-hmm. And one of the real key essential ingredients that people are missing out on is coming from a place of joy. And when we come from that place of joy and gratitude, suddenly things start to happen faster, and you begin magnetizing all the things that you really want, whether it be money, great relationships, etc.
So it's coming from a background where men couldn't be trusted and women were essentially treated like whores. It's no surprise that you teach people how to manifest their mate. So what is that, and why is it important to pay attention to it?
Well, again, going back to applying the law of attraction, and since I know we have a set amount of time here today, I'm going to share everything I can, and then show you where you can get more information. Okay. So one of the things is really working on that inner game and becoming the best you possible to attract what you want. And then another piece of that is if you, I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but the five people that are in your life, if you take a look at who they are, generally your income will be the same, will average the same amount as those 5 people. And so if you think about it in those terms, that the relationships that we're creating, how much it really, we can see it as a result of our income, but it also impacts us if we have toxic people in our lives. How do you get out of that hole? It's like quicksand. And so it's really crucial that if we want to live a joyful life, that our relationships be healthy and strong and empowering.
And I know you said you're going to tell our listeners how they want to take it further, but you do have a teleseminar coming up, a 4-part series, don't you?
Yippee! Well, I have a couple things happening, but for the listeners, I'm actually giving it's a free program for video series, and they can go to iwantlove.me, and that's me, right? iwantlove.me, and you can go ahead and download that, and you'll get the 4-part series and all the details of what we're going to a little bit talk about here today. So
okay, so for for you guys out there that really want to learn how to manifest your mate, Cynthia has been extremely generous in offering a 4-part video series, and you can register for that at iwantlove.me. And Cynthia and I were just talking about how funny it is that it's me and not .com. So,
yeah.
How did you become an expert in this area, in helping people manifest their mate?
Well, I don't think you know this about me, but I was a math professor.
Oh my God, you're such a dork! No, I'm just kidding. You're a hot dork, actually.
And yeah, right. So I went from one extreme of the analytical side to this. Oh, I'm all about love, right? Mm-hmm. But as a math professor, one of the things that was really stood out for me is I really wanted to understand how my students learned and how they were making meaning out of not just the studies, but what they were coming in with. Because a lot of times they would come in with this idea, oh my God, I'm horrible at math, this is going to be torture. And so I actually went on to complete my doctorate degree in adult education, instruction, and curriculum. And that was really what I focused on, is not just understanding how they would learn in a mathematics classroom, but how people make meaning out of the world in general. And so then, off and running for the last 12 years, I've been once I completed my doctorate, I've been immersed in my own quest for even more knowledge on how all of this works.
How does that tie into Daughter of a Porn King?
Well, let's go back to that little girl, right? Mm-hmm. And she's walking around in this porn convention, and she's just, you can imagine how baffling that must be for a child to see. Whips and chains, and, it was like the Wizard of Oz, right? Like lions and tigers and bears. What's
well, you know what? I just got to say, when I was reading your book, and guys, I highly recommend that you get her book. You could get it on Amazon or go to daughterofapornking.com. When I was reading your book, Cynthia, I felt like I was there. I was like, wow. And I was just thinking about when I was 7 and how sheltered I was. I have Indian immigrant parents that wouldn't let me leave the house, and I'm just picturing myself in your shoes. And I'm like, wow. You're at the age of 7, you don't know anything, but you were exposed to so much, So,
right.
Yeah. So,
you were being brought up in that environment. And then also what my parents were exhibiting was this explosive relationship, and so I never saw what soft, gentle, sweet love even was. So I ended up marrying at 20 years old this man who basically took me out of this abusive, alcoholic, codependent environment that my mother had with her, I think he was her third husband, and ended up in what seemed like this white picket fence relationship, but I never really found that sweet, divine love that I'm talking about. And one day I literally was sitting in the closet. So here's the great metaphor. Mm-hmm. I found myself living in the closet. My soul was in the closet, and I'm looking at a pair of boots, and I hear the Nancy Sinatra song playing in my head. Mm-hmm. These boots were made for walking. After 7 years of being in this relationship where I literally felt like my heart was dying because I never really had true love with him, really took me on what I was saying was my 12-year really quest for, at the time, what I thought was searching for my soulmate. But what I truly discovered was really more of an inner game and finding true love for myself first.
Isn't that interesting that you said this to me earlier, but what you thought was your quest for finding love outside of you actually turned into your search within and truly falling in love with yourself.
Right. And that,
mm-hmm.
And that's actually why I created the program Manifest Your Mate. Is I looked back and go, okay, I went on this 12-year journey and had to struggle and had horrible relationships, toxic, crazy relationships along the way. And if I could make that, a 90-day journey for people, like, wow, wouldn't that be amazing? And so that's really how I ended up down this is my expertise and what I do. So in
talking about, helping people manifesting their mate, what are some of the key elements in manifesting a mate?
Well, the first one, and this is what it really hits on what you were talking about, is letting go of the past. Mm-hmm. So, if we look back at our past, even if we came from the perfect, ideal home environment, a lot of times we don't realize that there's things as a child that might have impacted us pretty deeply, or past relationships that we haven't been happy with. And so it's really important that we do that. And why that's important is because it's like a radio dial. If you imagine on the left side of the dial, you're attracting in, you're sending out this frequency of like 89.5, let's say. Mm-hmm. And you're sending out this frequency of, in my case, it was like men are going to be untrustworthy, they're going to be abusive, they're going to be all these negative things. And I'm thinking logically, well, I want a man who's loving, kind, and gentle, but I never shifted the emotion. And so the emotion actually has to shift up the dial. And so that's part of, that's probably the first key element. And the second one is shifting your thoughts. Right? So if you're focused on, did you ever have any ideas? You were very blessed, right? Your man is your man, and he always was your man. Is that right? Did you meet him pretty young?
You know what? It's so funny that you said letting go of the past, because before I met my husband, I attracted all the wrong men into my life. And then when I met my husband, I put all of those negative experiences onto my husband, who was my boyfriend, and I just assumed that he was going to essentially screw me over. I just thought he was going to be like every other guy because I had yet to release that burdensome energy. So, I totally get what you're saying. So the first step is to let go of your past. The second is to shift your thoughts. Yeah, and then the third is it's kind of like having a GPS, is setting, well, where's your destination? Mm. And knowing that part of the journey is, that part of the process is that journey in between. Like you get in your car and you set the destination, you don't know all the turns along the way. Are you going to be talking about this in your 4-part series? Yes. That's why I'm saying, I know we probably don't have time to really go too far in depth, but... Okay, so it's going to be this even juicier. So, guys, I definitely recommend that you go check it out. Register for her 4-part series on manifesting your mate. And it's iwantlove.me. This is for all you women and men out there that claim that, they want to manifest a partner and spouse, but, don't really know how to get there. So I can imagine it's going to be amazing, Cynthia. Yay, awesome. Yeah, it's for professional women and smart men. I love that. And I think it's great that do you often work with men on manifesting their mate? Actually, I do. I also work with clients one-on-one, and I have several clients right now that, we all are, when it gets down to it, people like to make a separation. Well, this is man, this is woman. And like you were talking about earlier, is coming to that oneness. Mm-hmm. And realizing, like, at the heart of it, we're all the same. We all want to be loved. So I love working with both men and women. So yeah. So guys, we have just been talking to Dr. Cynthia Glickman, author of Daughter of a Porn King. We've been talking about some of the key elements in manifesting your mate, letting go of the past, shifting your thoughts, and just really setting your GPS destination. When we get back, we're going to be talking about how to avoid manifesting the wrong mate and much more. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to Deep Talk on KCMO Talk Radio 710.
KCMO Morning Show with Greg Knapp.
U.S. Senator Roy Blunt is pushing an amendment. He just said, listen, if there's certain things as an employer that you morally or religiously cannot countenance to spend money on, then you don't have to provide that in the insurance if you don't want to. Pam, you're on the KCMO Morning Show. Go right ahead.
It would be like you said, if I went to work at a mosque and I wanted pork in the cafeteria, what am I going to do? File a lawsuit against him?
Greg Knapp, weekdays from 5 till 9 on KCMO.
Fox News Radio, I'm Jane Metzler. 6 Secret Service agents already off the job in that prostitution scandal. Maine Senator Susan Collins, ranking Republican on the Homeland Security Committee.
To me, it defies belief that this is just an aberration. There were too many people involved. If it had been 1 or 2, then I would say it was an aberration. But it included 2 supervisors. That is particularly shocking and appalling.
Collins on ABC's This Week. Many French voters saying, why bother?
Some opinion polls are actually predicting that 25% of the around 43 million voters will abstain, so they'll actually cast a blank vote.
Amanda Walker with Sky News. President Sarkozy likely to face a runoff. After a week, BG Robin Gibb out of a coma. Fox News, we report, you decide.
7:10.
Boy, we're in store for a beautiful Sunday. Abundant sunshine is forecast. If you're heading to the NASCAR race, it doesn't get much better than this. Mostly sunny and breezy. 57 when the race kicks off at noon. Will warm to a high in the low to mid 60s by the afternoon. So the Royals game is looking great as well. Mostly sunny and warmer on Monday with a high around 68. I'm KCTV5 meteorologist Tom Walks.
Behind every child with special needs is a family facing a variety of challenges. The Special Needs Planning Center offers guidance in a variety of areas: social security, guardianship, legal and financial, strategic plans to ensure quality of care for your loved one with special needs. The Special Needs Planning Center. Call 816-741-1100 and schedule an appointment or register for an upcoming workshop. See the snpcenter.com. Securities and advisory services offered through National Planning Corporation. The Special Needs Planning Center and NPC are separate and unrelated companies. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
When you need a new roof, deciding who to call can be a difficult decision. You want a reputable and responsible company, one that will see the job through from the initial call to the day the work is completed. And most importantly, a company that stands behind their work. That, my friends, is Lee's Summit Roofing. I've been recommending them to you for years now. They'll make sure the job is done right every time. Call Lee's Summit Roofing today, 816-554-8585.
Did I really retire? Did I really do this? Am I really a retired person?
This is Nadine Peterson on her first day of retirement.
I thought I would be very sad about it, but I wasn't sad at all. I know I'm classified as a senior citizen, but I don't feel like a senior citizen. Retirement is just another phase in life, okay? Most people today live to work, and it shouldn't be like that. We should work to live. And now I can live.
This is day one, the first of over 6,000 days most of us will enjoy in retirement. At Prudential, we create retirement solutions and partner with financial professionals everywhere to make sure you're ready for every one of them. Prudential, bring your challenges. Contact your financial professional today to learn more. Prudential Financial Incorporated, Newark, New Jersey.
Quietus contains homeopathic ingredients traditionally used to provide relief.
Do you have constant ringing in your ears? Does it drive you crazy? Maybe you hear that buzzing and it drowns out what other people are saying. It's impossible to focus. That ringing is the last thing you hear before you go to sleep. Let me guess. You're hearing that ringing right now. Millions of people suffer from tinnitus, that constant ringing in the ear. Now there's relief. It's called Quietus. Thousands of people have used Quietus to stop ringing in the ear, to stop that hissing sound. You'll love it. You won't have to ask people to repeat themselves. You won't have to sleep with loud fans. Finally, you'll be able to enjoy some peace and quiet. If you're suffering from tinnitus, I urge you to try Quietus.
Call right now for your risk-free trial of Quietus at 1-800-860-8518. That's 1-800-860-8518. Stop the ringing now. 1-800-860-8518. That's 1-800-860-8518.
KCMO, tackling the issues of the day without giving you a concussion. Although we do break things down. KCMO Talk Radio 710.
We're back, and you're listening to Deep Talk on KCMO Talk Radio 710. I'm your host, Vasavi Kumar, and we've just been talking to Dr. Cynthia Glickman, author of Daughter of a Porn King. You can get her book on Amazon. You can also go to the website, www.daughterofapornking.com. If any of this that we talked about today resonated with you, feel free to email Cynthia at cynthiaglickman.com. That's GLICKMAN.com. So we just finished talking about some of the key elements in manifesting a mate. The first is letting go of the past, not bringing all that junk into your present relationships. And when you're trying to manifest, you want to start from a clean slate. So letting go of the past. Number 2, shifting your thoughts. And number 3, really having that clear GPS destination. What is it that you really want to manifest? What's the kind of man or woman that you want in your life? And Cynthia, I want to, I think everyone wants to hear this. We always want to know what can we do to have the perfect mate. What do we need to do? But I want to know, what can we do to avoid manifesting the wrong mate?
Right. Well, there's a lot of things. I'll give you 2, and then I guess it'll depend on how we're doing with time. Mm-hmm. I would say that the biggest massive mistake that people make is that they're coming from a place of I don't have it, right?
Scarcity.
Which means they're coming from a place of lack.
Mm-hmm.
And so your energy. So remember, we're talking about the more joyful you are, the easier it is to manifest.
Mm-hmm.
If you're coming from a place like, I don't have love, then guess what you're going to attract? You're going to either attract toxic people or you're not going to attract anybody. And so just because you think it to be true doesn't mean you're going to manifest it. It's really crucial that we get into a space of loving ourselves first. And when we come from that place of that fullness, then the people around us are magnetized to us because they can feel it. And so they're not even necessarily consciously thinking it, they're still being drawn to us. The other thing is just lacking clarity. And, it's kind of like if you are going to find a new career, you want to create a business. You wouldn't go into that thinking, well, I'll just, whatever job comes to me, right? Those people are going to look at, what kind of skills do I have? What is it that I'm going to be passionate about, perhaps? Or what is it that I'm actually going to enjoy to do? And so it's the same thing in terms of relationship is a lot of times people aren't shifting that to our relationships. And they're just sort of like, well, if it's meant to happen, it'll happen. And which is true, letting go and allowing it to show up. But if we don't know what our target is, we can't hit it.
I'm so glad you said that because I have met so many women. Yes, I said women. I don't know about men because maybe I haven't talked to men about this, but so many women who just wait for it to happen as opposed to being proactive. And I agree with you. You can be detached, but you could still be proactive. So one of the things that I do with my clients, and I don't know if you do this, Cynthia, but I ask my clients to make a list of everything that they want in their ideal mate. What is every single thing that you want? What are some of the stuff, some of the things that are negotiable, some of the things that are non-negotiable? When I attracted my husband into my life, I knew that one of the things that was non-negotiable was that, I wanted to have a husband who was Indian because we share the same cultural background, and a husband who was Hindu, someone who shared the same religious background, just kind of our upbringing, even though I consider myself to be much more spiritual than religious. But I see what you're saying with that clarity, because if you're just kind of going into it like, oh, okay, whatever happens, you're bound to get lost.
Right. Again, you wouldn't go out into the workforce and go, oh, well, whatever job happens, happens.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I got to ask you.
So, and tagging off of that, I think another one of the biggest mistakes that I hear, especially from professional women, but I see this with smart men all the time too, is they're actually, because they haven't created a list, they end up shooting way too low.
Oh, yeah.
And so, for example, one of the things I hear professional women say is, well, I'm not really asking for that much. I just want a guy that has a job.
Right, that's the problem.
Okay,
yeah.
Great. Well, how many guys out there have a job? Is he really going to be your ideal, beloved, divinely intended partner?
No.
So, yeah.
So, what are some other mistakes that you see people make when designing their ideal partner?
Well, I would go with, this is the flip side of the list, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's one or the other extremes. Is they're either shooting too low, they haven't created a list, so they're not clear on what it is that they really want, or they've created a list that's 20 pages long, and they're so rigid that they're missing out on somebody amazing in that process. So there's a way to find the balance, and that's part of what I do when I'm working with people, is helping them to find that balance. And I guess I could give you one of the secrets to that is
please do.
Yeah, right. Is not just focusing on, well, my ideal partner has to be blah blah blah, right? That's kind of like, it's almost like from a stubborn place. Well, they have to be all these things, right?
Right.
And which is great. I think you should set your standards high. At the same time, step back and you have to look at, am I that person? Right? I want a man that's this, and this, but yet, I don't exhibit any of those qualities. Well, then how am I going to manifest that person if I'm not being it too?
I wrote this down on the side of my notes here, just that phrase, I'm looking for love. And I've said this to clients, and I just say this in life, you don't need to look for love. Love already exists within you. You don't have to look for it. It's not hiding under a rock, So I can see what you're saying. Are you that person that you're wanting in your life? So many people want love. They want compassion. They want kindness for themselves in their spouse. And then what I hear you saying is really asking yourself, hey, do I give myself kindness, love, and compassion?
Absolutely. It's so interesting how one of the things that we all really need to pay attention to, and as part of that three-step process we talked about a little earlier, is getting clear on what your beliefs are, but also paying attention to how you talk to yourself.
Mm.
And, I think if we slow down and pay attention to that, you'll find that sometimes you're saying some pretty nasty things to yourself that you would never say to your best friend.
And this all ties into the law of attraction, right? Like how you're treating yourself and the kind of energy that you're putting out there is exactly what you're going to be attracting. It's like the people out there, it's like the men out there who keep attracting women who maybe don't treat them right or who aren't really serious about settling down, or women who keep attracting men who just want them for one thing. And it's like, well, what are you putting out there? What do you?
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. This is what one of my male clients actually had said is, well, these women just all want to move so fast. Right? Well, okay, that's a belief. So he's manifesting women that want to move fast. And if that's not what he wants, and he wants to move a little bit slower, then he has to not just think that it's possible to attract women who are going to move a little bit slower with him at his pace, but he has to believe it's even possible.
So maybe even in addition to making that list and getting really clear, I would challenge, our male and female listeners, make a list of what are your beliefs about men and women, to all the women out there. And it doesn't really matter what your sexual orientation is, but, just really write down, what is your belief about the person that you're trying to attract? I had horrible beliefs about men. Not horrible. It was very true for me at that time, but I was bringing that into the relationship with my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time.
Right, and if you hadn't have cleared that, what would have happened is it would have eventually manifested.
Actually,
right? Like the things that you were believing he was going to be, if you continued to not clear that out, then he was going to start showing up as the guy you believed him to be.
Actually, I have to out myself. It did manifest in the first 6 months of our dating. I was waiting for him to leave me. I was waiting for him to use me. I was waiting for him to just drop me. You know what I mean? Because I was bringing those beliefs. And then, he had to shake me a little bit and say, I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
And it's up to you to really just see me for who I am and not bring all your emotional past into the now. So, I could see, it's clear that your techniques motivate people to get clear on what they want. I mean, we've talked about clarity in so many different ways here. Do you have any sort of advice or words of wisdom for those people who just aren't clear?
Well, ultimately it's just taking action, right? And when you make a decision right now, this minute, hey, you know what, I want to do this. I really want to create an amazing relationship in my life. The universe begins to correspond. And what I mean by that is everything that if you really dedicate yourself and you really believe it to be true, you take the action, whatever it is that you're trying to manifest will start to manifest. And go ahead. I lost my next thought.
Oh,
so you go.
It's okay, Cynthia. Guys, one of the actions that you can take is to get Cynthia's book, Daughter of a Porn King. You get a free bonus pack with it. And Cynthia, could you just share a little bit about the bonuses that our listeners can get if they purchase your book?
Yeah, I actually have 20 partners that have all given away various gifts, and they're actually valued out over a couple $1,000s.
Oh, wow.
And one of them that's really pretty cool is Steve Olsher, a really great friend of mine who's a great thought leader. He wrote a book called Journey to You, and he's giving that away. It's normally an $18 book. We've also got Guy Finley, who's pretty amazing, and he has a book on letting go, and he's offering the 7 Steps to Oneness. And that's normally, if you go to his website, that's normally a $25 program or audio, and he's giving that away. So basically, you buy the book Daughter of a Porn King today from my website, and you'll get those bonuses plus a bunch of other really great bonuses.
And you also have 101 joy tips, don't you?
Oh, yeah!
I want that. You guys, if you go to Daughter of a Porn King, you get her book. Obviously, you purchase that. You get a bunch of amazing bonus offers. But the one that I really think is awesome, and I think it's so practical in a society where people are just not happy, I'm just going to say it, is 101 joy tips to start living more joyfully and start attracting what you really want. I think that's great. I love tips, Cynthia. So that makes me happy.
And that's off of the CynthiaGlickman.com website.
Okay, great. So if you want to get those joy tips, go to CynthiaGlickman.com. If you want to get the book, you could get it on Amazon.com or go to DaughterOfAPornKing.com. Another action that I want to recommend that you guys take is really just signing up for this 4-part series. It's a video series. It's all about manifesting your mate. And if you're looking for how to do it and just really getting clear, I know Cynthia, and I know that what she's going to offer is nothing short of amazing. So what other advice do you have for people? I mean, you said, that the universe corresponds to decisive action. What else?
Yeah.
What other advice do you have?
Well, it's like if you want to turn your car around, right? You're in the middle of creating things that you don't want. Mm-hmm. The only way you're going to turn your car around is you have to push the gas. Yeah. You have to move forward. You have to take the step. So I would just recommend you go to iwantlove.me, mm-hmm. and I'm offering that to you today. It's free, and you can download those and get started on your discovery.
We love free things. So
Yay!
Once again, that's iwantlove.me. So I want to ask you, for the listener out there who's dating right now, okay? They're in the, maybe they're dating a few people. And, I don't know if you've come across this, but, people who are dating and they don't know who to choose. They're like, well, I'm dating all these people. I don't know which is the right one. How would you tell them to kind of, settle down and pick one?
Two things for that, right? Mm-hmm. Is, and this is actually a great tool for everyone, whether you are already dating people or you're not, is people are always so focused on that list, right? Like, I need to write a list of my ideal partner. They have to be this and that. What most people forget to do is actually envision what their ideal relationship would be like. So shifting the focus off of this one, that one, whatever, but who am I going to be able to create this amazing relationship with that I can grow, evolve, whatever it is that you're looking for, feeling empowered. So looking at it like long range, where am I going to be 3 months from now? Where am I going to be 5 years from now in terms of the relationship that I really desire?
That's beautiful. Guys, if you want to get her book, Daughter of a Porn King, you could go to daughterofapornking.com. I highly recommend that you sign up for a 4-part video series on manifesting your mate. You could go to iwantlove.me. We've just been talking about, the key elements in manifesting a mate. How can we avoid manifesting the wrong mate and just some of the mistakes that people make. I want to go back to the top 3 key elements because I think they're so important. The first, if you want to manifest your mate, you got to let go of the past. I started Deep Talk. The first show was all about forgiveness, and it was all about releasing the past so you can powerfully move forward. Yeah. The second is shifting your thoughts, and the third is getting really clear. That's your GPS, your destination. Cynthia, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time out to be here. Your book is amazing, Daughter of a Porn King. You could get it on Amazon or daughterofapornking.com. Sign up for the 4-part video series. I'm going to do it just because I think it's fun. I would love to see what you got going on. So I'm going to go to iwantlove.me and get register for the 4-part video series. Cynthia, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you so much.
And I hope you
really appreciate it.
I hope you have a great day. I know you're going to Vegas, so I hope you have a great trip.
Thank you. Have an awesome day.
Okay, bye, Cynthia.
Bye.
Guys, you're listening to Deep Talk on KCMO Talk Radio 710. I'm Vasavi. We'll be back.
KCMO Talk Radio 710 with Sean Hannity. Cutting through the liberal bias and giving you the information you need.
The lackluster GOP presidential field, et cetera, and, there's probably been 90, 100 stories written on the topic on Politico alone, but an uninspiring, lightweight, junior varsity, minor leagues. I'm getting sick and tired of this.
Sean Hannity, weekdays from 2 till 5 on KCMO Talk Radio 710.
When you're in the hospital for surgery, you're asked a lot of questions by a lot of different people, all of whom have your well-being in mind. The success of your anesthesia experience depends on how completely you answer the confidential questions asked by your certified registered nurse anesthetist. Be honest about your medical history, whether you smoke, drink, take drugs, or have been dieting. Your safety depends on it. A public service message from the American Association of Nurse Anesthetists.
I love spring. The sounds, the sunshine, the projects, any chance to get outside. Still checking off your to-do list? Then join Sam's Club. The same place you save on everyday items can also help you save for spring. Plants for the garden, steaks for the grill, even patio sets. Join by April 22nd and start your membership with lunch on us. A slice of fresh-baked pizza and an ice-cold Coca-Cola. After all, what's spring without a little picnic? One per membership. See Club for details. Sam's Club. Savings made simple.
Missouri depends on our small businesses and local manufacturers to keep our economy healthy, help build our strong communities, and provide jobs to thousands of Missourians. But unelected bureaucrats in Washington are making it harder for businesses to grow. Rather than enforce existing rules, the National Labor Relations Board is imposing new regulations, like ambush elections, overturning decades of labor laws to benefit special interests at the expense of hardworking taxpayers in Missouri. We can't afford that. Our small businesses are already stretched too thin. It's time someone in Missouri stood up to the bureaucrats in Washington. Washington shouldn't be hurting small businesses. They should be helping them. Call Senator Claire McCaskill today at 314-367-1364. Tell her to put Missouri's workers, small businesses, and manufacturers ahead of Washington's special interests. Say no to the NLRB. Paid for by the National Association of Manufacturers and National Federation of Independent Business.
E-discovery laws and government regulations require that certain businesses save electronic communication, namely emails, or face potential fines. Barracuda Networks, the world leader in content security, application delivery, and data protection, with more than 130,000 customers worldwide, can help. The Barracuda Message Archiver indexes and preserves all email communication while enforcing policies for regulatory compliance. Save email, avoid penalties. Visit barracuda.com/archiver to try the Barracuda Message Archiver free for 30 days. That's barracuda.com/archiver.
You own or operate a business. You know you need to advertise, but you have questions. You aren't sure where to turn. There's a free resource that can help. CumulusRadio.com. CumulusRadio.com has the answers that will help you decide where to advertise, what to say, and how to say it. This free resource has helped thousands of business owners and operators make the right choices, and it can help you find your answers too. CumulusRadio.com. You know your business. We know marketing. CumulusRadio.com.
The kitchen from the 70s.
The hole in the wall.
That orange paint that seemed like a good choice at the time.
All great reasons to call Dalton Brothers Restoration.
Small repairs, framing, decks, remodeling, drywall repairs, and painting, as well as water damage cleanup and more.
Hi, I'm Mike Dalton. Call Dalton Brothers for quality work from a business founded on values of honesty, integrity, and reliability.
Serving Johnson County and the KC area. Dalton Brothers Restoration. Online at DaltonBrosRestoration.com. That's Dalton, BROS Restoration.com.
When you're in the hospital for surgery, you're asked a lot of questions by a lot of different people, all of whom have your well-being in mind. The success of your anesthesia experience depends on how completely you answer the confidential questions asked by your certified registered nurse anesthetist. Be honest about your medical history, whether you smoke, drink, take drugs, or have been dieting. Your safety depends on it. A public service message from the American Association of Nurse Anesthetists.
Right now.
Take the poll right now, KCMOTalkRadio710.com. Should the teenager who killed a woman while texting while driving face prison time? KCMOTalkRadio710.com.
We're back, and you're listening to Deep Talk on KCMO Talk Radio 710. What an amazing show. I have goosebumps. It was beautiful to have Dr. Cynthia Glickman. I'm honored, I'm blessed, and I feel privileged to have her on the show. She's the author of Daughter of a Porn King, and if I haven't told you enough, you could get it on daughterofapornking.com. It's an amazing book. It really just makes you look within in your own life. And you can also sign up for her 4-part series on manifesting a mate at iwantlove.me. So thank you so much, Cynthia. And if you're feeling like love is hopeless, like you haven't found your man, you're crying yourself to sleep, every single day you're talking about finding that man or finding that lady in your life, I really think you just got to follow those steps. First of all, let go of that past, shift your thoughts, get really clear about who it is that you want in your life. But the thing that I really want to recommend is to let go of the past. Because, this is just in life, not just in relationships, but you have to be willing to let go and forgive what's happened so that you can move forward. And definitely sign up for the 4-part video series. I love video series. I know it's going to be packed with content. You can go to iwantlove.me, and it's manifesting your mate. If you want to check out some of the other podcasts that we have, go to www.vasavikumar.com. Click on media and click on Vasavi on the radio. Give me a call if you want to just talk and have your 30-minute coaching session. It's 913-951-1764. You don't want to miss next week's show. My guest next week does not need any sort of introduction, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. He's a top relationship expert. He helps men and women understand, respect, and appreciate their differences in relationships. And he just so happens to be the author of the best-selling book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. I am so excited. John Gray is going to be on the show. So you don't want to miss that. Sundays at 11, Deep Talk, KCMO, Talk Radio 710. I'm your host, Vasavi. Be kind to yourself.